I want to introduce myself. My name is Sarah Anlicker, and I am with Abundantly Blessed Homestead. And it is a little place that my husband and I are making into our little sanctuary, and hoping that through that we can bless those that are around us. So I am starting this channel kind of more of a documentation for myself on the different things of where we've started, things that I have done successfully, things that I have not done successfully, so that I can know where to kind of go about and change things. So I'll just start at the beginning. Steve and I have been married for going on 7 years. We were high school sweethearts and dated a little bit after he graduated. He's 3 years older than me. We grew up in a rural area, farming community, which we absolutely love. We love to go back and visit. Still have majority of our family there. And we actually grew up on 2 different farms that were only 2 miles away from each other. My dad was a farmer, but he also raised quarter horses. We had, I remember him and Mom always had a garden, and so us girls spent time, doing things that the kids get to do. We got to pull weeds, and I remember it was always a big deal when we planted. So that was always fun and a lot of good memories. Dad loved to plant flowers, and just really liked to take care of the farm, and it was always neat as a pin. I remember when I was younger, I raised rabbits, lop ears, and I loved doing that. There was a season when I raised quail. Not so crazy about that, but I think it was the age that I was at. I would like to try it again now being an adult. My youngest sister, Abby, she had a goat named Nanny. It served no purpose other than to be a pet to her and a nuisance to us, but it was a sweet goat. And let's see, Mom raised doves for a while. I remember we had finches she had inside the house. And so yeah, we had cows at one point. Dad and his brother, his older brother, and his dad, my grandfather, they raised turkeys for several years for a company. They would get the shipment in, they would grow them out, and then the company would come and get them. So, my cousin, he raised hogs. Yeah, so we were always around animals. We were on the farm. It was a big deal to do, harvest time, when all of us cousins, all of us aunt and uncles, grandma and grandpa would get together. We would go out to the field when they would be pulling corn or soybeans. We would then all get together and process the corn. We would shuck it. We would then get it off the cob. Grandma would get it all set for freezing. And I don't remember her doing a lot of canning of the corn, probably because we ate it so fast it was easier just to freeze it. So I remember doing that. And then soybeans, I don't know where Grandma got this, but we used to go out when they were harvesting soybeans, and we'd get a couple of 5-gallon buckets full, take them back to her house, and in the garage, we would, I say we, but my aunts and Grandma, us girls, would help. They would set up their roasting pans, their electric roasters, in the garage, and what we would do is we would take those, make sure that they were all rinsed and dried. We would come back probably the next day after everything was dried real good, and then we would deep fry them, and she would put seasonal salt on them. And I'll tell you what, they were the best snack, and it is something that I still crave. Everybody went home with a couple of bags, and within a month or two, it was all gone. So those are just really good memories. And I know Steve has a lot of those kind of memories too with his side of the family. His dad was a chicken farmer. He raised 33,000 chickens for egg production, and he would take those all up like Chicago area and surrounding areas, and he would sell those eggs. So Steve has a lot of memories of doing chores in the chicken house. They also farmed. So, but the majority of the work were into the egg producing chickens. That was their substantial income. Where my dad's was the farming part of it. So it's just, that whole community, that's kind of what you did. If you weren't raising hogs or cattle, you were farming. So, and I don't know of anyone really that grew up on a farm that didn't have a garden back then. So it's in my blood. It is a great passion of mine. And I think as I got older, even I would either have plants somewhere if I couldn't have a full garden, depending on where I lived. But once I was on land that would allow me to have a garden, I always had a garden. I taught my boys gardening. We have 5 children between the 2 of us. He has 3, and I have 2. 4 boys, 1 girl, out of all of those 5. My 2 boys are close to 30 and they're married, but they know how to garden, they know how to do all of that stuff. So I would imagine once they find their home, if they haven't already started little plants. I know my oldest, he's got a garden that I took him some plant starts over the other day, and he's going to put those in the ground. So it's just kind of all, it's just our life. It's our lifestyle, and we thoroughly enjoy it. There's just something about being one with the soil and put it into the right kind of elements, the right kind of soil. You give it the right kind of temperature and the amount of water, and you just watch it come to life and grow, and know that you are producing good, wholesome food that you can then eat yourself and provide for your family. So that's kind of the direction that we have been going over the last few years. We moved from Illinois, central Illinois, our hometown, 3 years ago to Indiana, and because of work purposes. But we have found this place that has really allowed me and Steve to put into practice all of those things, all of those life skills that we were taught by our grandparents and our parents. So, and it's just been really, really fun to be able to do that. So I thought, the first couple of years, I was getting to learn the soil here. It's different from Illinois, because Illinois, we have really good, rich black soil. Here, it is more loamy. So we've got a lot of, we're close to the dunes, the sand dunes. So we have a lot of sand in our soil. It's really good, but I just had to learn how to grow in it. And last year it started with a small garden that was already here, and I then planted what I could there that first year, and then the second year we expanded it, and now it's 65 by 55 is what the one main garden bed is. And so I do tomatoes, I do peppers, all of our brassicas. We do corn, we do sweet potatoes, white potatoes, onions, pretty much everything that I would want to buy, or I would go to the store and buy, is what I try and put into our garden. We have our lettuce, we have leeks, we have different squashes. Steve loves cantaloupe, so we always put in cantaloupe. We've got, this year, finally, I was able to get some celery seeds to germinate and turn into some pretty good plant starts. So I've got celery out there that I am experimenting with. We've got kale, of course, radishes, carrots, beets. We love beets. So all of those things we have. Now this year we started also with a laying flock. So we got 16 layers, and it's a mix. We've got barred rock, we've got Australorps, and we've got some olive acres out there. We do have 2 guard geese, and people always go, what's a guard geese? And we have 2 geese, white Emden geese, that they protect our flock from aerial predators. Or if something is coming around their electric fence that I have them in, they will also squawk, flap, make a lot of noise, and alert us and know that something is not right out there. So we have 2 dogs also out here. Now those layer flocks, getting back to them a minute, they're not going to start laying until August or September. We got them in March. So we've got a few months yet before they are mature enough to start laying, but they're starting to dig, scratch, and create little nests in their tractor. So we are going to be getting their nesting boxes up here soon. Now yesterday we got our first batch of meat birds in. We're going to do meat birds this year as well, and that's going to be our first. So chickens are kind of, though they say chickens are the gateway drug to homesteading, and I have to admit that is so true. So Steve, we go through a lot of eggs, so that's why I started with the laying flock, to give us just good, clean eggs. They're pastured poultry, so we run them out on the grass, and I move their tractor and I move their fencing every day, so they're on fresh grass. They do get feed, but the majority of their food comes from the grass and the insects and things like that they're getting from the ground, and which will make a better egg, a richer egg. So we got that flock started. Then because of health issues, I eat a lot of chicken, and the cost of organic grass-fed, raised, pasteurized chicken is very expensive at the store, and it's kind of hard to come by, and I'm not quite sure. It's not necessarily a local place, so I'm not sure exactly if what I'm getting is truly organic and pasture raised. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a try. I've seen enough people, and I know of enough people that are that do that, and I thought, you know, why not? We might as well give it a try this year, and if we don't like it, it doesn't work, we don't have to. So yesterday we got 31 jumbo Cornish cross chicks in, and so in 4 or 8 weeks we will be able to butcher those. I have another batch coming in June that are the Red Ranger. So they're a little bit different. They're slower growing. They'll take 12 weeks. And from what I understand, their meat is more like a dark meat, where the jumbo Cornish cross are like what we get at the grocery store. So I'm very anxious to see and excited about how this whole process will work. And you know, if it doesn't, at least we're going to have, 62 birds in the freezer for next year and for winter. So can't really go wrong in that aspect. So anyway, that's where we're at as of this year. Eventually, we would like to then get into maybe some sheep, definitely a dairy cow, but that's going to be a while down the road. So what I plan to do is kind of document what we do on a daily basis, how things are going, and different things here inside the home too. Anything that I do. Well, I have, you'll see in a video, I am trying my hand at making kombucha because I love to drink kombucha, and it really helps with my health. So we're trying that, and just some other things. My degree is in fashion design, so I do alterations on the side. So I will kind of document some of those things, some of the bigger projects that I'm doing, or something new that comes up, and kind of keep track of those things as well. This year, the other thing that I want to learn to do is soap making. I would love to have our own soap. So those are kind of the things that you'll get here on this channel. And then as we grow and learn and do things, I'll document him, and hopefully you will find it interesting enough that you want to come along and join us. So for now, I just want to say welcome, and we look forward to doing this homesteading journey and adventure with you. And click the subscribe and make sure that you get notifications every time I post. So I haven't come up with a schedule yet, but it will be coming soon. So we hope you have a blessed day. See you soon.